No, change it again. Okay, right now is less laggy. Guess I'm gonna play helmet. I'm gonna play solo, bro. I'm gonna try to be the first level solo. Alright, let's start. I'm gonna click apps to open them. This is my loadout. Alright, I'm ready. Skip. Alert level. Number 1. Pay for substance sign. Let me lock pick. Whoa. Stop screaming, bro. You're making me feel bad. Nah, I'm not feeling bad at all, bro. Bro, stop breathing like that. Hear people inside here. Whoa, fuck. No. I'm not doing none of that. Yo, what's up? Were there any latencies, bro? Never mind. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not playing no military games anymore, bro. That's it, bro. That's it. Alright, oh, I play. Project Smash? Ayo. Bro, I literally think this game is like glitched. Sandbox. Play. Alright, now it's not glitched anymore. Got more exclusive ones. How much are they? Damn. Bro, they're showing euros for the Europeans, but they're not showing dinars. For the Bahrainis, bro. How dare they? Oh, taking up the whole arsenal in here, bro. What do you think this is? Come on. The whole lightsaber. The game has added a lightsaber. This is insane. So insane. Say goodbye, you dirty animal. More of this action. Oh my god! What was that, bro? Are you right? I don't think you are. Oh, I'm not right too. What was that? Is that like a bomb in me? Oh, I hear a bomb. Oh, that's, I don't like the sound, bro. I don't like it. Boom, shakalaka, boom. This is satisfying. Oh my god. Hunting rifle? You see, I got my eyes on the target. Take a breath. What's your reason? Shoot. And he's still alive somehow. Okay, now he's gone. And no more of rat-ta-ta-ta. Wait, it's not rat-ta-ta-ta, it's boom. Bro, can you stop that? Oh, seriously, bro, this ain't fun. Ooh, saw some open. Why is there a bomb in me? How do I unlock my last, bro? How about some reacting? Get the viewers up.
What's something that made you angry?
Why not YouTube Shorts, but I don't want to doom scroll. And then forget about the chat. When you give a kid unrestricted internet access, that's me. Oh, it's Ricky, bro. I gotta watch it. Hit that like button.
Day 53 of making a viral Roblox game. I decided to upgrade the titles menu. Instead of it being hard-coded, it now updates each time a new title is obtained. Here's today's intergalactic reply. You should join the Discord server, and if you're looking for it, it's in the comments. Like and
6-7. Wait. 6-7 mentioned? Oh my god. So cool.
Why does everyone see an Asian person and immediately ask,
Are you Chinese?
Bruh.
Like, bro.
do you know Asia is a whole continent, not a country? Like half of my school.
The most painful airplane death ever, bro.
Calling all units. We've got 1066 on high quality video.
The 20-minute incident. It was
The
supposed to be an
20-minute
ordinary flight from New York to
accident.
Dallas.
20 minutes,
Instead,
bro.
it turned into one of the most horrifying mid-air tragedies in US aviation history. On April 17th, 2018, a woman would board a Boeing 737 carrying 149 people to take a trip back to her home in Albuquerque, New Mexico. On Southwest Airlines, passengers aren't assigned specific seats. They simply just band together in groups and pick any seat that's available. The only one left for the woman was a seat in row 14, on the left side of the plane, next to a window. After making herself comfortable in her new spot, something unexpected would happen. After the plane took off, it spontaneously suffered a catastrophic engine failure at 32,000 feet. A fan blade broke loose, ripping through the engine casing and sending dangerous shrapnel into the plane's fuselage. One piece of
No.
debris struck a window, instantly blowing it out. And as you would guess, the window it struck would be none other than the woman's. In an instant, the 43-year-old mother of two was partially sucked out of the plane. The decompression was violent. Passengers scrambled in shock as the rushing wind pulled her torso outside, leaving her head and arms flailing violently into the sky. Desperate to save her, fellow passengers held onto her legs, trying to keep her body inside the plane with every ounce of their strength. Flight attendants fought chaos with calmness, urging everyone to remain seated while the crew prepared for an emergency descent. For 20 agonizing minutes, the cabin was a battleground between survival and disaster. Despite passengers' efforts, the vicious thrashing was too severe on the woman's body. By the time the crippled jet made its emergency landing in Philadelphia, she had passed away. Times like these revealed just how fragile safety can be at 30,000 feet in the air, and how a single shattered pane of glass can mean the difference between a peaceful ride to your destination and pure tragedy.
Yo,
The
planes
photo-
are so bad though. Planes are so bad.
Incident.
You're more likely to crash your car and die when you want to go to the airport rather than actually crashing the plane.
Was a desperate
Not you, the pilot.
escape. A young boy
Or maybe not
longed
even
for
the
adventure,
pilot.
for freedom beyond the
The
confines
plane
of his
itself.
home in Sydney,
Shelf?
Australia.
Self.
On February 21st, 1970, he slipped past security at the Sydney airport and crawled into the wheel well of a DC-8 jet that was headed for Tokyo.
Obviously,
He thought he'd hidden himself
shit.
safely away and that he was ready to be
Shit,
carried
rather
across the
than
world.
sit.
But stowaway flights carry a fatal flaw. Moments after takeoff, the landing gear began to retract. While the plane was flying, the wheel well doors opened and the boy was suddenly exposed to the rushing sky. With no warning, he tumbled out, plummeting 200 feet to the ground with his body slamming into the earth as horrified witnesses looked on. In a tragic twist, a photographer testing out a new camera lens wanted to give the device a try. He thought to himself, what's more breathtaking to photograph than a plane on the verge of takeoff? As he positioned himself and his new camera lens to take a photo of the plane flying, he would accidentally and unknowingly capture the boy's final fall. This incident would leave behind a tragic and haunting image of a body suspended midair just seconds before doom.
Whoa.
His parents were devastated.
Damn.
Reports show that in response to him running away,
Alright.
they would travel with him overseas to satisfy his adventurous spirit. But even at that, he still kept running away, so they sent him to a boarding school to keep him grounded and protected. Nonetheless, the boy still escaped. I won't lie, it's cases like these that kinda put a damper on my mood. And as much as I talk about physical health and its safety on this channel, mental health is just as important, and so I'm happy to thank today's sponsor, BetterHelp. We cover a plethora of tragic incidents on this channel, and as most of you already
I'm
know,
pretty sure it's been
when I'm doing research,
proven that
usually
BetterHelp sucks at what it's trying to do.
everyone's
It's basically the UN saying they're gonna keep peace and everything. Well, it's only just the US's. Like, if you wanna take care of the people like Bosnia, Rwanda, or something like that, the US has to vote on it. Like, every country votes, so yes, we should go on that thing, whatever. They all agree, except the US. That means basically no one agrees if the US doesn't agree. That's how it goes. Like, just a big oh, we're gonna do something. But like when the US votes that like, okay, we're gonna do something about it, they don't do anything about it. The UN soldiers are like standing by, and all these countries keep like pulling out more and more soldiers, like in Rwanda. And the poor soldiers had to literally look at the Hutsis killing the Tutsis.
in a while, I'll come across something extremely distressing. Odd enough, when I was younger, I'd never
Okay.
really communicate with anybody about how things like these would affect me mentally,
Okay.
nor would I have personally turned to therapy to work through
Okay.
our own trauma and stress.
I don't care.
And don't think that you're not worth being heard, because you
Okay.
always are. The blender. Airports are supposed to be gateways of excitement, the place where journeys begin. But for one man at the Milan Malpensa airport, the runway became a place of unimaginable shock. In July 2023, a 35-year-old ground worker and father of two would slip past security and break onto the runway. The man didn't have any tickets and wasn't a plane passenger of any sort, so staff and security alike would tackle him down to the ground. However, upon breaking free from their grasps, he would begin climbing onto the side of the Airbus. As the plane began slowly powering up and got ready to take off, its sudden movement caused the man to fall off. Without a second
Oh,
to
no.
waste, the man would jump back up and run to the other side of the plane to climb
No.
on top of it again. However, as he was crossing the left side, the jet's ginormous engine would violently suck the man inside. A jet engine's blades are razor sharp and spin thousands of times per minute. Not to mention that the deeper you go inside of it, the hotter it gets. The man instantly was blended into a red mess. His remains were unrecognizable, and the only things that were assumed to be left behind were pieces of bone, tissue, and shredded clothing. Witnesses like the aircraft marshal said the force was so sudden and violent that there was absolutely no chance of escape. He'd go on to say that one moment, as the marshal, he was guiding the plane into position. The next moment, he sees the powerful vacuum of the engine ripping a man from the ground and dragging his body into its spinning blades. The sound was deafening. Passengers on board watched in shock, realizing what had just happened. Authorities later confirmed that the man passed away instantly. Colleagues described him as cheerful, hardworking, and devoted to his family. But his passing was a chilling reminder of the brutal physics at play in aviation. One simple misstep of being too close to an active engine can erase a life in seconds, or maybe even quicker. The ghost plane incident. On the morning of August 14th, 2005, what began as a routine flight from Cyprus to Athens turned into one of the eeriest tragedies in aviation history. A Boeing 737 carrying 121 people climbed into the skies. But just minutes after takeoff, something was terribly wrong. The cabin pressurization system had been left in manual mode during pre-flight checks. As the aircraft ascended, oxygen levels dropped. Slowly, everyone on board began to lose consciousness. Passengers slumped in their seats. The pilots collapsed at the controls. And as for the plane, it became eerily silent on the inside and kept on flying at 34,000 feet in the sky on autopilot. For 2 hours, the plane would continuously fly in a circle above Athens. A massive aircraft, full of unconscious souls, drifting with no one in command. Fighter jets scrambled to intercept it, peering into the cockpit only to see the captain's chair empty and the co-pilot slumped lifelessly over the controls. Meanwhile, oxygen masks dangled uselessly from the ceiling. But then, one man moved. Flight attendant Andreas Prodromou had regained partial consciousness thanks to a portable oxygen supply. In a desperate final act, he entered the cockpit and tried to save the aircraft. Witnesses believe he attempted to steer it away from Athens, sparing the city from catastrophe. At 12:04, nearly 3 hours after takeoff, the plane eventually ran out of fuel. Despite the man's efforts to try to land it properly away from the city, the Boeing plunged into a hillside near Grammatico in Greece, leaving nobody on board to survive its crash. Investigators concluded it was a costly mix of human error and mechanical oversight. A simple switch left in the wrong position, a mistake no one caught in time. Although devastating, the lives on the plane are still remembered till this day, especially the heroic man who was able to veer the plane away from Athens City and stop it from crashing on hundreds of unsuspecting citizens. Oh,
If EAA was not around, aviation innovation would be effectively stifled.
oh, the humanity.
Oh, the
On May
humanity?
6, 1937, a luxurious German passenger airship, marketed as the peak of elegance and wealth, attempted to dock at the Lakehurst Naval Air Station in New Jersey after a transatlantic flight. Dozens of spectators gathered to watch the massive Zeppelin. It was 804 feet long, which is nearly twice the length of a Boeing 747. It also weighed nearly 500,000 pounds, but it only carried 97 people. The beautiful airship began to descend from the clouds, preparing itself to land. Then, without warning, disaster struck. You see, the ship was maneuvering during a thunderstorm and garnered a static electric charge within its metal frame. Normally, this wouldn't be too much of an issue if the ship was using helium, as it was quite literally designed to use it. But for political reasons in 1937, the United States refused to export helium to Germany, and so individuals would go on to fill the airship with hydrogen instead, an extremely flammable gas. Even though the
Oh
Germans
my
knew this
God.
was very dangerous, they did it anyway. And so, as the Hindenburg hovered above the mooring mast, it dropped its landing ropes, which is theorized to have
Stupid, bro.
created
You
a spark.
stupid.
In a flash, gigantic flames erupted near the tail of the ship, and within seconds, the entire airship was engulfed in fire, while it was still flying in the sky. The hydrogen gas keeping the Zeppelin afloat ignited into a breathing inferno, turning the proud airship into a falling torch as it floated 200 feet off the ground. People inside struggled for survival as the interior became an oven of smoke and flames. Many people and others collapsed from smoke inhalation. Ultimately, passengers became faced with the horrifying reality that their only escape from the ship was to jump 200 feet to the ground. People leapt from the burning craft as it collapsed to the ground in just 34 seconds. The screams of passengers became mixed with the roar of fire, and terrifying enough, 36 people would perish from this disaster. But what really made this tragedy unforgettable was the live radio broadcast. Remember that this was going on in 1937? Many people never saw or even heard of things like this, especially on radio. Reporter Herbert Morrison, who was covering the landing, was overcome with horror as he cried out words that would echo through history.
All the humanity and all the passengers screaming around it. I don't do it. I can't talk to people.
Oh, the humanity, a phrase that became synonymous with the disaster, leaving many others to shout the same thing whenever witnessing another tragedy unfold. The Hindenburg is a haunting reminder of how quickly human ambition can be consumed by flame and political strife. In terms of recent politics in the US, a lot has been going on, but don't let violence scare you, and don't let strife divide you. Love your neighbor as you would love yourself, and treat others how you wish to be treated. Keep your head up always, and as usual, have a happy day.
Look at the goat. That's ISO speed you is small, bro. Look at your speed.
Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life.
Did you fall in love? What's the song, bro?
So Blue was inspired by this girl that I was really crushing on. Best experience, bro.
Imagine we fell in love on that mountain skies with you.
That's a guy, young Kai. Young Kai is the guy man.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without.
Bro. The town that took out an evil man and hid it from the FBI for 50 damn years.
When you're busy or you have a great idea, you just want to get things down.
I guess they once thought, what will you have after 500 years?
On paper. Grammarly is always catching things that you need.
Meet Kenneth, a man who was in front of 60 eyewitnesses, but the FBI could never find out him. Why? Well, because Kenneth had a problem. Everyone in his town hated him. Why? Because he sucked. Not your normal kind of suck. I mean, really sucked. He kept things real simple. If he wanted something, he'd just walk over and take it. He wants some of your gasoline in your farm, he'd walk over to your farm, take some of your gasoline. He wants some of your cattle, he'd walk into your farm, take some of your cattle. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, why did they let him get away with that? Well, take a look at his picture. That man has some heft to him. Man's was 270. Big boy. They say, Kenneth. He said, huh? They say, that cattle in your farm look a lot like my cattle. He said, so? They said, well, I'm finna go get the sheriff then. He said, cool. I'm finna go get the strap then. Kenneth was not afraid to blow anybody down. So even the sheriffs were scared of him. On top of that, he had already been arrested like 20 times, but always got away with it because he had a really good lawyer. So he feels like he's invincible. In fact, he would say it himself all the time in town. I can do whatever I want and no one could do a thing about it. But one day he took things a little too far. This is Trina. Sitting next to her is Alice. She's gonna come in a little later in the story. Trina was Kenneth's wife. Now this next part may be a little disturbing. He met her at an age that I can't say, but I can show you the last number of this clock. Her parents,
Oh
of
my
course, were
God.
outraged, but that didn't stop him from seeing her. Now again, this part with Trina is disturbing, but I do find it important not to skip over these topics. So he's 35. He enters in a relationship with her and eventually having a child with her. Now at this point, he knew he was doing way too much. He wasn't gonna get away with this. So Kenneth goes to Trina's parents and tells them, look, y'all gotta let me marry her or I'm finna get in trouble. They say, hell no. So he burns their house down. And remember what I said earlier in the story. The police were scared of him and he has an insanely good lawyer. Well, there's another thing he did to escape jail, and that was threaten people and actually follow up on his threats. Oh, they won't let me marry her daughter? I'm gonna burn their house down. This made people in the town know and understand what he's capable of. If he had a problem with someone, he would follow them around for days. So people just let him do whatever he wants, like sadly, Trina's parents. Kenneth marries Trina. Now, remember Alice from earlier? Well, there's something I forgot to tell you. This was his first wife, but to get married to Trina, he divorces Alice. But then he still moves Alice into his house with Trina, so he basically has two wives. But then Trina and Alice together run away from Kenneth, because remember, Kenneth sucks, and they go to Trina's house, which they just rebuilt. Kenneth follows them to Trina's parents' house, burns down their house again, it's their dog, and then takes Trina back. The police this time jump in and say, hell no. The police arrest Kenneth and put Trina in foster care. Let that sink in. But Kenneth gets out of jail because of his amazing
why
lawyer.
is the sink always
goes
outside,
over to
bro?
Trina's foster family and tells them girl for girl. They said, what do you mean? He says, give me Trina and you get your daughter back. The family had a biological daughter and they were foster parents for Trina. They said, we already have our biological daughter. She's at school. He says, yeah, but I know where she goes to school and I know where she takes the bus. So again, give me Trina. They give him Trina. Now here's where the story starts to get wicked. As you can imagine, everyone in his town hates his guts. What I told you was a story in a few minutes, but this was going on for decades to them. They're living their whole lives with this guy. But one day, his daughter goes over to the local grocery store and she picks up some candy. The grocery store owner, Bo, says, oh, you gotta pay for that. The daughter goes over and tells Kenneth. Kenneth walks over to Bo and says, you accusing my daughter of stealing? Bo says, nah, Kenneth, Bo. Bo survives. Hit right here, but he survives. Now remember, Kenneth has never been convicted. He even, somebody before, I just didn't mention it, that person also survived. But this time, Kenneth was like, let me not take any chances. I'm gonna just do my old tricks. So Kenneth follows around Bo's family. He starts waiting around their house. They're terrified. He goes, okay, cool, check. He then goes over to the prosecutor and says, you finna try to put me in jail, right? The prosecutor says, well, yeah, that's my job. And it says, you ain't heard about all the stuff I did to people in the TikTokers video? The prosecutor says, oh, I did hear that. All right, you got it. Prosecutor leaves. A new prosecutor comes in straight out of law school. He says, are you Kenneth? Kenneth goes, yeah. You heard about all the stuff I did in the video? Prosecutor says, yeah, but I ain't scared. We finna take it to trial, baby. Kenneth says, what? The prosecutor says, yeah, you going to jail. Kenneth looks at his lawyer. Kenneth's lawyer says, you know I got you. I'm a really good lawyer. But then the prosecutor does something extremely clever. He knows he probably won't beat Kenneth's lawyer straight up. He's just a really good lawyer. Prosecutor, fresh out of law school. Kenneth is intimidating this guy's family. It's gonna be a tough trial. So the prosecutor says, look, what Kenneth did was attempted. He's supposed to get like 15 years. But listen closely, Kenneth is not gonna be prosecuted for attempted. He's gonna be prosecuted for assault, which is only like 2 years. Now, this is what prosecutors do when they know it's probably gonna be really hard to win a case. It's like if someone steals a car. If a prosecutor can't prove it, they'll just probably charge them for driving without a license. And while miraculously, for the first time in Kenneth's life, he's convicted. 2 years, but Kenneth gets out on bail. Then Kenneth files an appeal. Then Kenneth walks into his town's bar and says, I'm finna get away with it. And he says, you know what else I'm finna do? He brings out his and says, I'm finna Bo, and no one's gonna do a thing about it. The town is stunned silent. So they all gather for a meeting in the town hall, including the sheriff and including the mayor. They said, what are we gonna do about Kenneth? He might get away with this. The sheriff says, I have an idea. Everyone says, thank God. The sheriff says, what if you guys form a neighborhood watch? And that was the town's breaking point. Their protector not finna do a thing about it. Boom, somebody busts in the town hall. They say, hey, Kenneth next door. He drinking. Everyone in the town rushes next door to the tavern. Everyone waits outside. Kenneth walks out, says, what's up, y'all want a picture? Stop playing with me. Brings out the toolie. Says, y'all know I keep it on me. Watch out. Goes over to his car, sits down. The town looks at each other. Two people grab their and start letting them things go.
No.
Trina is with Kenneth in the car. She jumps out. Somebody grabs her and rushes her to safety. And they lit bro's car up. They missed almost everything, but hit him with 2. And that was all that was needed. No one called an ambulance. The sheriff didn't arrest anybody. The prosecutor didn't press charges. The FBI, though, said, hey, yo, what? Hell no. They go over to the town and they interview 100 people. 100 people ain't see a thing. Stay solid. The FBI then presumably found out a lot more about Kenneth. They said, oh, all right, we're just gonna go home. Trina, though, Kenneth's wife, goes over to the FBI and says, y'all not finna do anything? They said, mama, he sucks. And nobody's saying anything. That's why we can't do nothing. She says, well, I saw who did it. His name was Dale. If you're wondering why she's doing this, Stockholm Syndrome. She was with Kenneth for a long time at this point. The FBI said, they go over to Dale. They said, do you do it? He said, no. They said, okay. They go over to Trina. They said, Dale said he can't do it. Trina says, fine. So she sues the town for $6 million. They gave her $17,000. They said, girl, here. And well, Trina moved away and remarried. As for Kenneth, to this day, his is still technically unsolved. Now, I have a genuine question for you. Do you think the town was justified in what they did? Let me know.
Nah. I think it's over justified. They should have done more. How to make more views in 1 minute.
In the next 60 seconds, you'll steal 3 tricks to get more clicks and keep people watching. If you don't walk away with at least 1 tip you'll actually use today, drop your video idea in the comments and I'll improve it personally. First, great videos start with great promises. One great video is easier to get 10 million views on than 100 mediocre ones are to get 100,000 each. So your energy belongs on the topic, title, and thumbnail that make a single video unskippable. A simple start is to write 20 titles for the same idea and later kill the ones you can't explain in 1 sentence. If the idea doesn't instantly suggest a clear thumbnail, it's a bad idea. Second, you must pay off the title in the first 10 seconds of your video. Your opening must visually match your title and state the stakes. Immediately pay off what you promised. Viewers will be more likely to stay if they think you'll actually deliver what they want. Edit. With a viewer's mindset, cut out the fluff, put yourself in the seats of the viewers, and think if you are them, would you stay to watch the whole thing? Third, you must build an escalation ladder. Every 20 to 40 seconds, change something: stakes, rule, location, prop, or visual format. Retention comes from momentum, new stimuli to progress the story. Try to see the edit while filming and cutting anything that doesn't buy attention back. Remember, it's not only about cutting the fluff, but also acknowledging the flow and pace of how your story unfolds. Now with everything, let me hear your viral video idea. In the
He didn't get any views for this video, but he didn't like. I guess it was the steps. Oh my god, look at the cookies.
In 1998, Chip Ahoy's released 1,000 boxes of cookies that purposely had no chocolate chip because they wanted to see if a factory mistake could be used for viral marketing, and secretly removed every single chip from over 1,000 packages of their cookies before sending each box to stores across the country with no special label, warning, or a way to know the cookies were chipless, leading unsuspecting customers to assume it was a massive mistake, until Nabisco revealed it was all part of their newest campaign, and any customer who found one of the boxes would actually win a $1,000 cash prize, which went so viral across the country that it started a massive cookie scavenger hunt, with customers buying dozens of boxes to try and find a winning pack, until a few months later when most were found and the campaign was stopped. In 1998, Chip Ahoy
In the 1930s, a woman named Ruth Wakefield ran the Toll House Inn in Massachusetts. One day, she ran out of baker's chocolate while making cookies and decided to chop up a Nestle chocolate bar instead, expecting it to melt. To her surprise, the chunks held their shape and the chocolate chip cookie was born. The cookies became so popular that Nestle struck a deal with her to print her recipe on their chocolate bar packaging. Today, the Toll House cookie is a classic in kitchens everywhere, all from a little improvisation. In the 1930s, a woman named Ruth Wakefield ran the
My page is gonna be full of cookies. Matmuga.
Bitrix 24 is a free CRM system that's 5 times your average CRM. More
Mimi Matmuga. Batman, Ben Superman. You're telling me Batman is better than Superman? I think that's true. He almost won. Israel versus Palestine, the truth. This was 3 years ago. Let's see the truth.
Who does this land belong to? You've probably heard a lot of rumours, but today I'm going to expose the truth. Right off the bat, I got a couple positive points for Palestine. Number 1, shawarma. Everyone knows for the perfect shawarma, you gotta have the wrap, the chicken, the salad, the pickles, and the sour yogurt sauce. But the kosher law in Israel means they can't eat dairy and meat together. These donnies are raw dogging shawarmas. These men are one-throating shawarmas with no yogurt sauce. Huge L for Iscells. Number 2, Marvel. That's right, I've uncovered what I think will be a devastating hit for Israel. Marvel are introducing a Zionist superwoman in 2024. This is coming concerningly soon after She-Hulk. So what can we expect? I'm saying at least 2 twerks. She-Hulk was just the test run. I think it's fair to assume that the Israeli stocks are gonna plummet after this one. However, we got some W's coming in for Israel too. Number 3, the Kardashians. Honestly, I don't know how Palestine are gonna recover from this one, but I've uncovered that Kim Kardashian is actually pro
That's Kim Jong Ardian.
Israel. Here is
Kim Jong Darcian.
proof I was able to find.
Running for everyone in Israel. Kim and Courtney house hunting in Tel Aviv.
Reportedly, the shift to Zionism is what led Kanye West to infamously change the intro on his album Donda.
Israel, 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 Israel.
Number 4, the autopilot technology used in Teslas was invented by an Israeli. This is a big W for Israel, as this technology has caused many car crashes and therefore reduced the amount of annoying Elon Musk fans. 5, Israeli drip is on point in both ways. Not only did they design this drip farming method, they also swag.
Hey, you should be fired.
However, number 6, Einstein. He was actually offered the presidency of Israel in 1952, and he stated that the reason for him not taking the presidency was that he was too old. But with the help of my government intel, I was able to find this secret Einstein equation which explains it all.
It's not
so
real.
You might be thinking,
it was not real. No way. Oh my god.
Geopold, there's equal W's and L's for each side. Who is the true leader of the Holy Land? And in conclusion, Wales. That's right, it should have been Welsh. In the colonial era, Wales had permission from Turkey and other countries to establish a Welsh-speaking colony here. However, they settled here instead when they realized it would be a better place to farm sheep.
Yo, last time we won, Bahrain has won. But now it's Wales. Part 3 of inventing a new skate trick.
Part 3 of inventing a new skate.
This is the one that was in Skate 3. The one where you grab the board over your head and can like do flips and stuff, and then put it in your leg.
Oh, this clap.
It's a well-known trick in the community.
What?
The skateboard disappeared.
No! Oh! Son of a fucking bitch! And rats make me crazy! Oh!
He's getting angry. Rah, rah. He sounds like a cartoonish sewer villain, bro. And this was it.
Part 3 of
Bro, 2026 is already cooked, and here's why. No one's even talking about animatronic Nosy anymore. The last update we got was that he escaped, but now, Rake has been spotted in North Carolina. That means we got 2 creatures roaming free in the world.
Bro.
At this point, it's not just the end of 2025. It feels like...
Write anything. Just 2 photos.
Just the photos. The photos.
You killed him! But you lunatic! Chill out. He'll be back.
They tryna lie me cause they hate the place I'm from. But them niggas don't know me, they just know the place I'm from. I got
So shorty's tryna pull up to my place. You ain't want me last year, so just get up on my face. They all up in my inbox, so I know they wanna taste. I know they want my downfall.
Don't call me a dumbass.
Don't push me,
Or what, Spencer?
or I'll push you back.
I know I'm about to blow. I ain't dumb. They try to touch my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got
Jumanji. With everything's illegal and it's this is literally illegal.